The W, the O, the R, the K. The W, the O, the R, the K. Look yourself in the face. Look yourself in the mirror. Ask yourself, are you giving 120% every day? Every play? Give me 120 or don't give me nothing at all. The guy you competing against, you haven't outworked him. You've not outworked the person next to you. You've not out-hustled them. You've not out-grind them. You've not outdone them. You're not locked in. Bring all your passion. Bring heart. Every single game, every single play. Put forth 120% or don't ask nobody to do nothing to you. The W, the O, the R, the K. The W, the O.
What's up? What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday morning. We have a huge week coming at us this week, guys. We got the elections that are getting ready to pop off tomorrow. We got the FOMC meeting. Let's get ready to pop off with the interest rate cuts here in the United States, man. We got like a ton of stuff coming at us this week that will affect these markets in some way, positive, negative. We'll see as the week goes on. We're going to see. We'll see what happens, man. It's going to get real interesting as this week unfolds. I'll tell you that. So, yeah, we're going to get we're going to get into it. We're going to get up. We're going to get after it. It's Monday. We're ready to start this new week. We're ready to start it in a positive direction. Markets took a bit of a step back on Friday. Looks like they might be coming back a little bit this morning. I'll show you guys what I'm looking at, what I'm seeing for the day, and kind of what I'm doing for this week. And then we'll get into some news. And then look at some projects, some tokens, maybe if we got time. But yeah, definitely a big week in the markets this week. Two big events coming at us. You know, got the elections here in the United States, which would prove to be pretty interesting. And then we have the FOMC meeting. So definitely a big week. Definitely a big week. So we're gonna see what the deal is this week. It's gonna get real interesting. It's gonna get real interesting this week. So we're gonna see. It's one of them weeks where you just buckle in. That's all I can say. Good morning, Selmo. What's up, my brother? Yo, this time change got me all jacked up. Selmo got me all jacked up, man. I was in bed early as hell last night. Woke up early as hell this morning. Man, this thing got me all jacked up. Ken, good morning from across the pond, man. How you doing? Good morning, good early afternoon. How are you? What's up, the junior? What's up, my brother? What's up? From my man from down south. What's up, my brother? Yeah, Selmo, man. This time change got me jacked up, man. Heat, what's going on, my brother? Good morning. How are you? See, people are rolling in. Big week this week, man. Big week, man. Gonna get interesting, man. Interesting this week, man. But yeah, we gonna get after it. We're gonna see what's up. We'll see what's up, baby. Got the Asian markets over here. They ain't trade well. One thing about the Asian markets, China's getting ready to put a bunch of money into their economy, stimulus-wise. So we're gonna see what that does here to the Asian markets. And in crypto in particular. Seiko, what's up, man? What's going on? Love the time change. Yeah, you don't change your clocks out there out west, though. So you guys, 2 hours now. 2 hours instead of 3 hours, right? So yeah, man, but time change jacked me all up, Seiko. But yo, China getting ready to really put some money into their economy over there. We'll see how that goes, man. We'll see how it goes, especially with crypto. We'll see how that rolls out as they start to give their people stimulus, because we all know what happens with stimulus, right? We've seen it here in the United States and some of the European nations. You can give people money, you can do all that, they're going to invest it, but ultimately, what happens is your you go from a deflationary market to an inflationary market, and then you got to fight inflation, kind of like we got going on right now in these European nations right now. So we'll see how China plays that out. We'll see how China plays that out. By the way, wait to the last few days. Talk about crypto as far as elections. Yeah, crypto, man. Like the elections, man. I mean, it's gonna get rough, man. I think we're gonna have some volatile times in the markets when it comes to the elections. I think we're gonna have up and down. The markets are gonna go up and down like crazy over the next couple days, probably over the next couple weeks, depending on who wins. And it's going to get rough. We got a little bit of article talking a little bit about the outcome, not the outcome of the elections, but how Bitcoin usually performs during the election cycle. But the one thing that we know about this bull run cycle, and the one thing that we know about this election cycle, is it's not normal, right? This isn't the normal election cycle, the election. This isn't the normal cryptocurrency market with all institutional investors in here. So nothing that we're seeing right now is normal. So I caution everybody going off of history when it comes to crypto, and going off of history when it comes to the election cycle. The elections, it's not normal right now. Like crypto has taken such of a front row seat in the election. It's the first elections that crypto has really taken a front row seat in these elections. Usually nobody really talks about crypto. Nobody really cares about crypto when it comes to the elections. But with all of this institutional money coming in and all of this money flowing in, crypto's like top on the agenda right now. So whoever's elected will probably start to lay the groundwork for election law here in the United States. So, people got to remember that, like, election law will start to get created by the next president of the United States here in the United States. And that could be good and that could be bad. You know what I mean? That could be good and that could be bad. David, how are you? Good morning. Good morning, man. Good morning, brother. So, but yeah, so like the election cycle, this election is going to be pretty interesting when it comes to crypto. But like the Asian markets, though, like we'll see what happens when they start influxing their money from China into these markets. We got the European markets over there where my man Ken's at, trading good, man, trading good. Looking good over there, Ken. Looking like $1 million sitting all in green. United States markets, all in green. Looking really good in the pre-markets right now as we wake up and get to trading. You see right here the stock futures are on a little bit of a rise, running up until the election. Pretty normal that you would have pullbacks and runs as the election cycle starts to play itself out. You got Warren Buffett over here in Berkshire Hathaway selling the shit out of Apple, selling Apple stocks like crazy. We talked about this on Friday. I told you guys, NVIDIA and Amazon are basically going to start running AI when it comes to the stock market and innovation and the things that they're going to start rolling out with AI development. Apple is trying. They just don't have the user base that Amazon has, and NVIDIA is like basically running the chip market right now. So everything AI is coming through NVIDIA. So Apple's kind of falling back a little bit, and you can see that from when you get somebody like Warren Buffett selling the hell out of their Apple stock. You know, I mean, you need to look no further than that. Follow big money, right? Follow big money. NVIDIA is performing really, really well. So is an Amazon. Absolutely killed it last week. And talking about actually putting even more money into AI development. So follow the money, baby. Follow the money. That's all I can say. But yeah, we talked about this on Friday. But Warren Buffett's selling the hell out of his Apple stock, man. If that doesn't tell you what you need to know, then I don't know what to tell you. Amazon is where it's at. Singapore's got a huge fintech event coming up this week too, and we'll get into a little bit of that here in a minute. Where blockchain is going to be one of the topics of conversation over there in the Singapore event, which is bringing up all the big boys. All the big boys are going to be there. You're talking about Fidelity. You're talking about BlackRock. You're talking about Citibank. You're talking about a whole bunch of people that's getting ready to be at the Singapore FinTech event. And there's some blockchain stuff that they're going to talk about, which ultimately leads to what? Cryptocurrency. Timsky, what's up, my brother? What's up? We got iShares, the IBIT Trust over here. Closed at 39.37 on Friday. Gonna open up a little bit down this morning, 39.19. Just changed 39.19, which means, you know, they're trying to come up. This thing got pretty beat up over the weekend. So, you know, in aftermarket trading. So, you know, it's starting to come up a little bit, but definitely not where it closed at on Friday. So we'll see what happens with these inflows over here into these ETFs, you know. And this is one of the scary parts about ETFs, guys. I keep trying to, you know, raise the alarm to you guys when it comes to crypto. I love the ETFs because it brings the retirement traders, the states and everybody else into crypto. You're allowed to put these ETFs inside of your retirement plans. You're allowed to put them, you know, inside of different, you know, retirement plans, trading portfolios, things like that. But when you get these ETFs that are as big as Bitcoin's ETFs, they run the market, guys. They run the market. So they'll run Bitcoin's price, right? So you have the Ethereum ETFs out there that really haven't taken off yet. So they're really not running Ethereum's price. But if they do catch on and then they do start to gain momentum, they will start to run Ethereum's price. And everybody's all pumped up about this XRP ETF that people are applying for. Well, it's going to follow the same fate, right? Let's say the XRP ETF takes off. Well, what's going to run the XRP price is the ETF. So if you got to be careful. Be careful what you wish for. You just might get it, you know, basically is what I'm saying to you. Coming over here to the cryptocurrency market, we got a market cap of $2.3 trillion, guys. Definitely down a little bit from when we streamed on Friday, but not as bad as everybody's making it out to be, in my opinion. 2.3 trillion, still a pretty big market cap. You got the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index coming back down here at 53, back to neutral, went from greed to neutral. I think people are overreacting a little bit, to tell you the truth. But we talked about a Trump token running and a Kamala Harris token running. You know, you got to follow the meta right now for the next 2 days. You're going to get a real election meta. You look at this Trump token over here on Sol. It's up 119%, you know, 119%. So obviously that's the one that took off. That's the one that started to run. It's got a huge gain to it right now. I hate all these zeros, 11 zeros. I hate that. I don't know why people launch tokens with that many zeros. It's stupid. It's something that doesn't even need to be anymore. But anyways, they launched the damn thing. So it's up 119%. So obviously it's making some moves here. And then you got the Kamala token over here on Sol, up 12.6% right now. So these two right now are the two biggest election tokens that are making some runs. And they've both been launched on Sol. But Yeah, definitely the Trump token is definitely killing it at 119% up. But man, I don't know, man. And Danny, get off of it. But man, I'll tell you, man, I hate all of these fucking zeros. 11 zeros. Come on, man. Come on. Why are we launching projects with 11 zeros still? We haven't learned. We haven't learned. Uh, I I'm excited. You know, the XRP ETF. I don't know. Big watch. It, the Ethereum ETF has proven to be a colossal failure, right? So, you know, will the XRP ETF take off or not? I don't know. I mean, it's hard to get excited about an ETF when the Ethereum ETF has been an absolute flop, right? So what's to say that the XRP ETF won't be an absolute flop, right? There's a high probability that it could be an absolute flop. Not anything that XRP has done. It's just the market itself. Is it hungry enough? Is the market hungry enough to move from this Bitcoin ETF a little bit to the Ethereum ETF to the XRP ETF, right? That's the question you got to ask yourself, right? Will the XRP ETF take off before the Ethereum ETF takes off, right? And I'm not quite sure it will. You know, I'm just not quite sure it will. I mean, I hope it does. I hope they launch it. I hope it gets as big as the Bitcoin ETF, where we're looking at billions and billions of dollars of inflows and outflows. But will it? I don't know. I don't know. Uh, it may help dwindle the supply, right? Ripple supply. It may. It may. But you know, they still have their locks and unlocks that they have every single month. I mean, that's not going to change, right? That's not going to change. So we'll see. Like I hope it gets as big as the Bitcoin ETF. But what's to say? Like I said, what's to say that it's not going to suffer the same consequences as the Ethereum ETF? You know, I don't know. I don't know if the market's hungry enough for all of these ETFs. I think the best ETF for anybody to launch is really a package deal. If you came up here and you packaged the top, you know, 10 cryptos into one ETF, I think that one would be a lot more successful than just launching a single project ETF. You know what I'm saying? I just I think that one would be a lot more successful. But I'm with you, Big Watch, on if this can dwindle down some of Ripple's supply, you know, what they actually own, then it'll be good for XRP holders, right? Because right now Ripple's the one who is suppressing this price. Everybody says, oh, you know, institutional investors are suppressing the price. Yeah, to a certain extent they are, but Ripple themselves is also suppressing the price of XRP as well. And the further that this court case goes, this appeal and everything else, the more and more XRP's price will be suppressed because make no doubt, Ripple's selling off on XRP to pay for this case. You know what I mean? So the further that goes, the longer XRP's price will be suppressed. So anytime you can get the tokens out of Ripple's hands and into investors' hands or into an ETF's hands, I think you'll be better off. I think you'll be better off. Uh, yeah, they do. Grayscale has a large scale trust. It's a trust. They have a large scale trust that they're converting to an ETF, and actually, I think that one's going to be bigger than the Ethereum ETF is right now, and possibly even bigger than the XRP ETF. I'd like to see 2 ETFs released. I'd like to see an ETF with the top 50 tokens, maybe top 25 tokens, somewhere up in there, and also an ETF with the top meme coins. When you come over here, and if somebody was to launch an ETF, let's say with Dogecoin, Shiba Inu, Pepe, Dogwood Hat, and let's just say Bonk. Let's just go down that far, right? If they were to launch an ETF with just these tokens in here, I think it would be a lot. It would be a lot bigger than just launching single ETFs, right? And that's one of the reasons why I'm happy that the Solana ETF kind of got kicked to the back burner, because I didn't think that the Solana ETF was going to do that well on the open market. I just didn't think it was going to move Solana's price at all. At all. I just didn't think that it was a good move. And I'm kind of glad it got kicked to the back, because I actually think it would have hurt Solana more than it would have helped Solana. So at this moment in time, right? At this moment in time. So that's not to say, a year from now that, the feelings on this doesn't change, because the Bitcoin ETF is so out there in people's retirement plans and things like that. And then it becomes overly bought, and then people have to move on. Well, what are they going to move on to? They may move on to the XRP ETF, the Ethereum ETF, or something like that. So I am bullish on the ETFs. I just wish that they would have done it a little bit differently. And XRP ETF could very well take off, just like the Bitcoin one. And if it does get tokens out of Ripple's hands, then that's a good thing. That's a good thing. This election, man, this election is going to have a big impact on what happens over here in the crypto market. A huge impact. Because like I said, the next president of the United States will start to make crypto regulations. Whoever that is will start to make the crypto regulations. This Trump token right here on Solana dropping 114%, just dropped 5%. See what happens with it as the morning moves on. Kamala Harris token just dropped out of the top 5. So that one kind of is losing steam, it looks like, a little bit. But we'll see what's up. We'll see what happens. But definitely this market right now is definitely down a little bit. Took a big step back over the weekend. Kind of show you guys, get through some of this news where I think try to put a positive spin on this thing right here. City Financial, they're going over to FinTech, City and Financial, and they're actually going to demonstrate how you can trade forex, currencies on the blockchain, right? And do it in real world tokenized assets, and do it real world settlements. This is really big for blockchain, because if you can move your forex trading over to blockchain and settle things faster, and actually with more yield, they were saying with more yield, which means more profit for investors, this is going to be absolutely huge, right? And look who's leading the way. You got Citi and Fidelity, right? And they're going to put out a proof of concept. So they've already been testing this. They've already been doing this. They've already been testing this. They have a proof of concept out there. So, they want to swap on chain, right? Which this could lead to forex trading now becoming on chain, which is bullish for blockchain, right? Now, they didn't release in this article which blockchain that they're actually using. So don't let anybody fool you about, it's going to be this blockchain or that blockchain. It theoretically could be their own blockchain, right? It could be their own private blockchain that they're using to make these things happen, which would make perfectly good sense for Citi and Fidelity to use a private blockchain to make these things happen, especially if they're testing it and they have a proof of concept and all of this is working. But definitely, Scottish, what's going on? My brother Scottish. So I think that I think that this is really bullish for blockchain. And if they can pull this off, and when you put the money behind Citi and Fidelity, then they're going to pull it off anyways because the big boys are in it. And they're talking about tokenized assets here, right? They're talking about tokenizing the Forex market and moving that over to the blockchain for real world settlements. And I'm telling you that, man. I'm telling you right now that if you can do that, it's going to get faster, it's going to get quicker. And if you can get into this blockchain, that whatever blockchain that they launch on, if it's a public blockchain, that blockchain is going to explode. That blockchain is absolutely going to go nuts. Imagine the majority of Forex trading taking place on chain. The dollar, I think the dollar has seen better days. Samo, I think the dollar has seen better days. I think that the lizard people will try their best to hang on to the dollar, and they'll try to do their best to hang on to the dollar. They'll try to do their best to crush out cryptocurrency so that the dollar is still king. But ultimately, I think they're fighting a losing battle. I think they're fighting a losing battle when it comes to trying to save the dollar. I think ultimately they have to go to a digital dollar. What that looks like here in the United States, obviously is up for debate, right? You look at the CBDCs that have been launched around the world, all of them are a little different, right? All of them come with a little bit of different security behind them, a little bit different tracking behind them. So, what that looks like here in the United States, I don't necessarily know. I think it's a matter of who puts the laws together, who puts into the digital dollar what they can track, what they can't track, all that stuff. But ultimately, I think the dollar's dead. I think they're hanging on to something that just it's just a dying breed. I mean, I break it down to you like this, like. Let's say you put, you got a savings account. It gives you, a 4% yield APY on it. You put $1,000 in your savings account, you get 4% a year. But if inflation raises by 6% a year, you're actually a negative 2% on your money, right? So you just lost 2% of the value of your money, right? And inflation on a good year in the United States is between 2 and 3%. So think about it, like if you have $1 in your pocket and you hold it for 2 years and you never spend that $1, you just lost 4% of your money just by holding that dollar, right? Because inflation would have went up on average 2% a year, which with 2 years is 4%. You would have lost 4% of the value of that dollar just by holding it in your pocket. So that's the problem with the dollar right now is you literally, if you hang on to your money and you just put it away in a savings account, you're actually losing money, which is killing the dollar, right? It's killing the dollar. So, and it's because debt's so high. Debt's so high, inflation's so high. Anybody that's just hanging on to their money in a savings account right now, they're actually losing money every single year. They're losing it. And people say, well, hang on to your money, for 15, 20 years. Well, if you're only getting, 3 to 4% back on your money, you're actually down. You're actually down. So, when you look at it, that's why the dollar's dead, because the majority of the dollar is really tied up. It's really tied up over here. The majority of the debt is really tied up in the bond market right here, right? So how these bonds perform, you look at them, they're in the red, right? So every time these bonds are in the red, the dollar is actually losing value. So when you look at these, 5 years, 10-year bonds, they're going down the dollar is actually losing value. And you look at the war that's going on right now between Israel and Iran. And Israel just, attacked Iran's defense system around their oil production. This is why you see the oil prices going up, right? Because they know that if this continues and they attack them oils, if they attack the oil reserves over there in Iran, that's going to spike oil like crazy. And so these oil prices are going up. So there's a lot of things at play right now. And there's a lot of things that when you look at it, this presidential election, they're going to have to deal with all that. You know what I mean? They're going to have to deal with that craziness over there between Israel and Iran. They're going to have to deal with inflation. They're going to have to deal with the dollar going away. They're going to have to deal with prices going crazy. They're going to have to deal with interest rates going crazy. They're going to have to deal with a record-setting debt. So there's a lot at stake. Come Tuesday, there's a lot at stake, and it's a matter of who you think can make that transition, right? And it's really for us, it's a matter of who the market thinks can make that transition and make it better. Because if the market doesn't hear what they want to hear or see what they want to see, you're going to see big sell-offs. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, there's repercussions to everything, right? There's repercussions to elections. There's repercussions to all of that stuff. And you got to deal with the repercussions of what's going to happen. But the day doesn't look good, but the hour looks good, guys. It looks like the market's trying to make a comeback. And show you guys. Let's go ahead and look at. Well, what did we get through the news yet? Oh, right here. Bitcoin likely to rally after the U.S. elections, irrespective of who wins. This is history. History shows. History does show that after the elections, Bitcoin runs, right? Bitcoin will run a couple weeks after the election. That's what history shows. That's what's happened every year, since Bitcoin's been out since the elections. Bitcoin has moved up a couple weeks after the election. I mean, we'll see. Like I said, this is a very different market than Bitcoin or crypto has ever operated in before. There's the lizard people are inside of the crypto market. They're eating people up. I mean, you look at the amount of Bitcoin liquidations that happened just on that drop. That's not by accident. That's big money coming down, liquidating all of them longs that are sitting there at 68, 65,000. It's eating them up. Now all your liquidations are up top, right? They're higher. They're in the 70s. So that's why I think Bitcoin's going to run a little bit over the next couple of days, because I think the lizard people are going to go up there and they're going to eat up all of them liquidations over there up top. And they're just manipulating the market. They're tearing the longs and shorts up is what they're doing. They're getting all that liquidity out of the market. So the majority of the liquidity now sits up top of 68,000. So if you look at the heat map, a lot of it sits above 68,000. So the lizard people will go up in there and lick them guys out of there. So that's why I think Bitcoin will run a little bit today. Well, at least over the next couple of days. But when we come in here and we look at this Bitcoin chart, you can see Bitcoin over the last, over the last hour has it started to put a couple green candles on here, sitting at 68.8 right now, 68.8. Now, looks like it's trying to push back up into $69,000 range. So we'll see, we'll see what happens as the day moves on. But here's what I really want you guys to pay attention to. We go to the USDT map over the hour, and you can see that people are starting to pull their money out of stable coins, which means what? They're starting to put these back into the market over the last 3 hours. And then you see Bitcoin, it actually starts to move up over the last 3 hours. So them two kind of match up pretty well, that people are starting to pull their money out of stable coins, put it back into Bitcoin, which means Bitcoin probably has hit its floor for the day. You know, when you have people that are starting to come out of stable coins and move back into the market here. So that's a good sign. That's a good sign for the crypto market in general. But what's even a better sign is when you look at this chart here. This is all of the altcoins minus Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? Well, why do we want to minus Bitcoin and Ethereum out of this? Because when you look at Bitcoin and Ethereum, they hold about 70 to 75% of this total market cap, right? So they hold about 70 to 75% of this $2.3 trillion market cap, right? So they hold the majority of that. So what they do is what the market's going to do, right? But when you look at the rest of the altcoins, right? So this is the market share that the rest of the altcoins hold. They hold about $595 billion of market share inside of this market, minus Bitcoin and Ethereum. So look at the big difference: $595 billion versus $2.3 trillion, right? So that's a huge amount of money that Bitcoin and Ethereum suck up. But if you want to know how your altcoins are running, look at over the past 3 hours. All of your altcoins minus Bitcoin and Ethereum have actually started to come out of this red market right here. And then we're going to come over here. You're going to look at the hourly chart, the hourly bubbles, and you can see that. You can see the rest of your altcoins start to run a little bit, right? So this is all a good sign. So if you're in altcoins and you want to know whether or not you want to go into altcoins are actually up or altcoins are actually down, never look at the overall market cap, right? Always look at the market cap minus Bitcoin and Ethereum, which is this TOT3 chart over here on TradingView, because this is going to tell you what the altcoins are doing, minus 75% of the market, which is Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? So it's actually performing pretty well over the past 3 hours. It is down, though. When you pull this back, your altcoins took a nasty tumble down over the weekend. We all seen that. If you're invested, you all seen that. You knew you can see this nasty tumble, right? But if you were watching this chart and you bought up in here somewhere, like on this red chart right here, where you thought the bottom was somewhat in, you're gonna be okay right now. You're gonna be okay. You know what I'm saying? So always watch this altcoin chart minus Bitcoin and Ethereum. That's going to tell you where the rest of the market is. And that's kind of where I watch when I want to get into my top 100, top 200 altcoins. Is I really come over here and look at this chart and say, is it just Bitcoin and Ethereum running, or is the rest of the market running as well? And this is what you got to know. And it looks like the rest of the altcoins are starting to run. They're starting to have a good day. They're starting to have a good day. They're starting to have a good push up. They're starting to look a little bit better. So, and then you back that up with what the numbers are telling you, right? And the numbers are telling you that, everything seems to be, mama said everything gonna be all right? So really pay attention to that. And these are the things like I try to bring to you guys to like help you. Like these are the things that I watch, right? That I look at before I enter a trade or I enter a position is where are we at with the overall market, right? Doesn't make much sense for you to go buy SUI when these altcoins are like way up here, right? That means SUI's like way up here, right? But it does make sense for you to buy something like SUI or something like that when the altcoins are moving downwards, because you're getting an upward. You're getting, you can ride that wind up, right? You can ride that up instead of buying at the all-time high. So it does. This chart right here is really the one you want to pay attention to when it comes to altcoins. But you see Bitcoin actually starting to do really well. These past 3 hours. So I think we're gonna have a good day when it comes to the market in general. I'll tell you guys what I did do though. You guys think I'm crazy. I'll tell you what I did do. I sold out of about half of my positions when it came to the ISO coins. And I'll tell you why. The ISO coins are moving so slow right now that there's probably a better opportunity. And I'm not suggesting you guys do this. I'm not suggesting you guys do this. Uh, you're crazy. I'm not, Junior. I'm just not. You know what I mean? Here's my position on this. They're moving so slow, and I think that we're going to get a pullback, a gut shot reaction to the election, right? Regardless of who wins, I think the markets will have a gut shot reaction. So I told you guys that I have a bunch of money. I'm selling off on these positions. What I'm doing is I'm stable coining up, right? And I'm just waiting, right? So my plan is to swoop in and buy back into these ISO coins a little bit lower than where they are now, right? So I'm not suggesting you guys do that, but I remember what I said. I didn't sell them all. I sold about half of my positions in each one of them, and that's XRP, XLM, XZY, XDC. What else did we have? Quant. I just had a lot of ISO coins, and they just were not moving. They just were standing still. So to sell half of my position and come in and get more later, because I'm betting that the market's going down, I could be completely wrong, right? The election could happen, interest rate cuts could happen, and these things could take off like crazy, right? But here's the beauty of that: I'm still in. I only sold half of each particular one of them, so I'm still in, right? So if the market takes off like crazy, I'm still in it. I'm not completely out of them. But if it drops, I definitely could. I could come in and really make a good move as well. So it's either going to work out really good for me, or it's going to work out really bad for me. But well, I don't even want to say really bad. It's a win-win situation for me because I still hold half. So if they take off, I'm still cashing out. I'm still in the money, right? So, at the end of the day, it's really like a win-win. I'm either going to double my position, or I'm going to cash out on a run, right? Caspa fell down to 10 cents. Now, we talked about Caspa on Friday, and the crazy thing about Caspa is people go nuts about Caspa, right? Oh my God, Caspa's going crazy. Caspa's down. Caspa's, did this, it did that, and everybody's bailing out of Caspa, blah, blah, blah. I told you guys what was happening on Friday, and it'll continue to happen, right? Caspa is running against the market, right? So when the market's down, Caspa's been running, right? So will it relink itself to the market and run when the rest of the market is running? Maybe this is the time where Caspa starts to relink itself to the rest of the market, but it definitely was running when everybody else was down. So what has happened was everybody started to pull their money, their profits out of Caspa and reinvest it in a lot of these altcoins that were way down, right? Smart move from the Caspa holders, right? Because they made money. They made money when the market was down, and they're just reallocating their money. That's all they're doing. That's actually a good move for them. It's actually a good move. All right, Junior, man. Happy Monday, man. Have a good one, man. Have a good one. So that's actually a good move for the Caspa holders, right? The Junior hit that like button. Yes, y'all hit that like button, man. There's 35 y'all in here between YouTube and X. Smash that heart button. Smash that like button. Appreciate every single one of you guys. Show the channel some love. Always forget to say that. But let's just take a look at Stellar, for example, right? Let's take a look. Let's take a look at what DG did and see if DG gets wrecked, right? There's possibility, we're investors, so there's always a possibility that you get wrecked. There's always a possibility that you don't, right? So over the past 7 days, we'll look at Stellar, right? This is 7 days, right? So you come up in here, right about in here is where I decided to sell about half, right? So actually, it was a pretty good move so far, right? So when you look at this at 9 cents right now, 9173, right? So let's say that this thing goes down to 8.5, right? Which there's a possibility that this thing can go down to 8.5, right? I swoop in and buy back in at 8.5. I'm looking a whole hell of a lot better than I did for holding for through this whole downturn. Through this whole downturn. So I look at I look at that's how I look at it, right? How much higher do I think Casper can go the next few days, Scottish? I think when we look at Casper for what it is, right? It's at 10 cents right now. I think, and when you look at the chart for Casper, um, Casper has a great support level right around 10 cents, right? A huge liquidity around 10-cent level, right? If it breaks down below that 10-cent level, you're looking at Casper probably in that 8-cent range, right? Possibility, possibility, given the situation, right? Given the situation that we're in right now with the elections and everything else, and I think that the market's going to have a pullback. It will pull back. Um, just for a minute though, I don't think the pullback's going to be long, right? So when you look at Casper on the all chart, right? Let's look at it. It's had a nice run, right? Like right here, the market was getting crushed and Casper was running, right? You look at the top of it, right around 20 cents, somewhere in there, right? So when you look at this from a perspective of Casper, can Casper hold on to its 10-cent mark, right? Huge liquidity level right here where it's at. You see all that liquidity right there at 10 cents. If it falls below 10, it very well could end up down here in the 9-cent level. I think Casper over the next couple of days will probably hit after the elections, after everything settles in. Casper probably will retest this 10-cent level if it drops below, probably come back up to the 12-cent level where there's a lot of liquidity before it moves back up to its all-time high, right? So before the end of the year, I think that Casper definitely can touch its all-time high again before the end of the year, given market conditions stay positive, right? Given market conditions stay positive, I think that by December, Casper can definitely come up here and touch its all-time high again. Um, but obviously, there's a lot of things that have to take place for that to happen. Crypto markets got to stay positive, and all that good stuff that goes with that. And Casper can't fall too low, right? If it falls between this 9 and 8 cent level as the market starts to turn around, if it falls below that, all bets are off the table. It'll probably come back up to 10 cents and stay there after the election before it runs up. So, but it's got to hold 10 cents. It's got to hold 10 cents. But I still hold true to what I said, and I've been saying this whole bear market. I do believe that Casper and Sui will come up into the top into at least bare minimum during this bull run, the top 15 tokens, if not top 10. I do believe that Sui and Casper both will sit there in the top 15. They're two blockchains that I've never seen a bull run before. They're performing pretty well. The tokens that they're launching are giving great volume over there. So I do believe that Casper and Sui probably will be the two of the biggest winners of this bull market. I think my opinion on what's gonna happen, Ken, is I think election nights on Tuesday, you're gonna get some unofficial results. Depending on how them unofficial results come out, I think you'll see a pump up or a pump down, right? Um, I think if you can get an official Trump win, you'll see the market. Its gut reaction would be a pump up. A Kamala win would be their gut reaction would be a pump down, right? So, but what I think is going to happen after that, I think you're going to have Wednesday and Thursday where the big institutional investors try to figure out what that means for them, right? What that means long term for them. And they're going to start, whoever wins, they're going to start pricing that into the market, right? They're going to start pricing what they think, where they think that the crypto market's going to go. Long term, they're going to start, the lizard people are going to start pricing that in. And already they're going to, there's going to be a lot of jockeying for position that goes on. So I think you're going to get that probably Thursday, Friday. The weekend's probably not going to be a good weekend. It doesn't matter who wins. It's not going to be a good weekend. Either people are going to be taking massive profits because of that initial gut pump, or people are going to be holding on the sidelines for a little bit longer. So I don't think that the weekend after the elections will be a good weekend. I think that following Monday is where you can probably start to see exactly where the market's going to shake itself out. I think that that's how it's going to play itself out. That election night, you're going to get a reaction one way or the other. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you're going to get a pricing in from the lizard people who actually control this market, right? They're either going to start eating or they're going to start shitting, one or the other. The weekend, you're going to see probably a sell-off or people holding. And then that Monday, you'll start to see the lizard people come in and start to reset the price. You'll see the lizard people come in that following Monday and start to reset. They're going to reset this price. They're going to reset what they think each one of these cryptocurrencies are actually worth. So that's how I think that this thing's going to roll. Which is why I'm saying to you guys, I think, I can, you can capitalize off that market. I don't think so. I don't think he's going to do anything different. Other than the fact that he's shown support for Bitcoin and Elon Musk is with him, and the cryptocurrency world is under the impression that he's going to save Bitcoin and he's going to save cryptocurrency, right? I think he will be a little bit more favorable to crypto as an asset, moving forward. But the one thing that's scary is, we can't have 4 more years of the SEC doing whatever they want, when they want, how they want, right? We've got to have some control over the SEC when it comes to cryptocurrency. And if we have another 4 years of the SEC just out here doing whatever they want to these projects and to these, people like Coinbase and Binance and people like that, if you have another 4 years of that, we're going to be in trouble. Cryptocurrency will be in trouble. Because right now the SEC is running a ramp shot over the crypto market. Like literally, they can do whatever they want, when they want, how they want to do it. And until you can control that, then you're gonna have problems in this market. Yeah, Ken. We call them the lizard people because what they do is they'll go up there, man, and they'll eat up all the liquidity up top. They'll come back down. They'll eat up all the liquidity at the bottom, man. And they just control the market. They'll just control the market. And that's what they're doing. They're just eating, man, eating and eating. And plus, if you look at them, they're all old guys sitting there, all wrinkled up, looking like lizards, man. And they're just running the market, man. They're just running the market. That's why we call them lizard people, man. They're just running, they're all wrinkled up, sitting there looking like lizards with their tongues out, sucking up liquidity up top, sucking up liquidity at the bottom, sucking up more liquidity at the top. So, you know, you know, you'll stop wars. You know, uh, Scottish. Like there's a lot going on, right? There's a lot going on there, and I can't get into too much political stuff on this channel because then people have been getting their channels basically banned when they get into too much political talk on their channel. But what I can say is there's positive, there's pros and cons, to everything that's going to happen. Like I said, like ultimately whatever happens, there's consequences to it. There's consequences to elections, right? There's consequences to elections, and and it's always been the case. It'll always be the case, and that's why I keep saying, and I've been saying for a long time, that the best thing that the United States could hope for is a divided government. You know, Illuminati, blood diamonds. Yeah, yeah, I'm with you there, Ken. But I think the best thing you can hope for is a split government. Always a split government. Doesn't matter who's in charge. I always will advocate for a split government because that will allow for common sense. If you have common sense people inside of the split government, you'll have common sense regulations, right? You won't have one side, the left or the right, run a ramshot over the government because they control everything. So if you have a split government, it forces both sides to come up with solutions that work for the people, right? That are basically down the middle because they won't pass if they don't. They won't pass. Like if the president wants to do something, it won't get through the House. It won't get through the Senate. If the House and the Senate want to do something, then the president won't sign off on it. So it forces people to use their what little bit of common sense they have when they're sitting in them chairs. And believe you me, they only have a little bit. The government doesn't have a ton of common sense. The government doesn't have a ton of your best interest in mind or my best interest, of our best interest in mind. They don't have that, and so anytime you can get to some common sense stuff, then you know we'll see. 666, the devil. Yeah, they're all the devil, man. They're all the devil, man. But it forces people to use common sense, and you know, common sense isn't so common in Washington. And I mean, I think we can all agree on it. Doesn't matter which party you're in. It doesn't matter whether you're a Republican or a Democrat or an independent. In Washington D.C., common sense isn't their strong suit, and so you need some checks and balances, and split government gives you some checks and balances. But that this election will have a huge impact on crypto moving forward because, like I said at the beginning, this president will start to set cryptocurrency regulations. They'll start because crypto is becoming so big, they have no choice but to set some regulations in place, much like the rest of the world has started to regulate crypto in common sense ways. It's going to have to be regulated here in the United States better than what it is now. And I was listening to CZ's first interview since he's been released from prison, and he basically says the same thing. You know what I mean? He basically says the same things. We need some common sense regulation. You know, we still shouldn't be fighting over what's a security and what's a commodity when it comes to cryptocurrency. Like we shouldn't be fighting over that. Like we should be far above and beyond that conversation at this point, right? The rest of the world regulates cryptocurrency like money, right? That's how they regulate it. It's like money. Canada regulates it like money. You look at a lot of the nations that have adopted crypto, they regulate it just like money. And we haven't got to that common sense theme yet, right? It's always been whether it's a security or a commodity. Well, theoretically, cryptocurrency, when you look at it from its purest standpoint, it's not a security and it's not a commodity. It's neither. It doesn't fit in either one of them buckets. Really, it's money, and you have to regulate it like money. Uh, I just blinked for a minute. I don't know why people can't understand that in the government. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know why we're so far behind the eight ball when it comes to that, but it's the stupidest thing ever. It's the biggest waste of time for the government is to sit there. See, I already blinked once, so I'll probably get taken down. I'll probably get taken down at some point. I already blinked once, so but yeah, so that's what I got on that, man. So, but with that, guys, we hit that hour. It's Monday. I gotta go do some payroll, but yo, the market don't look bad this morning. It looks like it looks like we're trying to make a recovery this morning. Um, it looks like we're trying to dig a little bit. We're trying to dig a little bit, but like I said, I would expect a lot of volatility in this market for the next 2 days. So if you're in the market for the next 2 days, you better have some balls of steel, because this thing's gonna go up and it's gonna go down. It's gonna come back up and it's gonna go down. Don't blink. Don't blink. That's all I can tell you. It's just don't blink, because you know there's going to be a lot of manipulation that's going on. There's going to be a lot of stuff that's going on inside of this market, to manipulate this market. But when you come, we talked about it, guys, and I'm very high on this meta for the next 2 days. And you look at the Trump token that's taking off right now. It's on Solana. It's on Solana. 39.7% on the hour. When we started streaming, it was like up 114%. But like you said, they launched this fucking thing with 11 zeros, man. We don't do that shit anymore, man. We don't launch tokens with 11 zeros anymore. I can't stand that. That gets under my skin so bad when we launch them with this big of a supply. But yo, it's still up. So we'll see what happens. The biggest Kamala Harris token is also on Solana. So Solana is definitely holding the meta for the Trump and Harris tokens right now. But I do think that this meta will make a lot of people some money if they're just in the right one. Talked about it on Friday. Talk about it again on Monday. But also, don't hold on to these tokens past the election. Don't hold on to them past the election. Past the election, these things will all tank. So go ahead and make your money over the next 24 hours and dump the shit out of these motherfuckers, because at the end of the day, they're all gonna go. They're all gonna go to crap after the election. So these ones are here for a good time, not a long time. So play them like that. Play them like that, baby. So with that, guys, we're up out of here. Appreciate every single one of you guys. Monday, huge week in the markets. We absolutely have the elections coming up on Tuesday. We got the interest rate. The interest rate is thing here in the United States looks like 25 basis points is the move. We talked about that. I thought that was the move anyways. And we also are looking at China starting to release some of their stimulus to their people. We'll see how that affects the cryptocurrency market. These guys could be dumping a bunch of money into the market as they get the stimulus. So we'll see. But China's in a pretty bad spot right now when it comes to inflation and it comes to people really struggling over there. So we'll see if they're going to harbor that money or if they're going to go ahead and dump that money into the market. But China's definitely starting to ramp up that stimulus to its people. So let's see how that rolls. So 3 big, huge catalysts coming at us this week: the election, the interest rate cuts, and China starting to release the stimulus out there to its people. So let's see what happens over the course of a week. I'll be back at you guys on Wednesday. Let's look at this thing. Let's make sense of this thing. But more importantly, guys, be safe, be smart. If you're unsure, don't do it. If you're unsure about where you're going and you're unsure about the where you want to go, just don't do it. Sometimes not doing anything right now is the best thing, and it's the best thing. So, but make smart moves, and just know that the volatility is here and it's going to come. And if you don't have balls of steel right now, you probably don't want to be in this market, because this market will be volatile until probably next week. So, you guys, with that, have a good day. We up out of here, and I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Bye.